Crunching numbers, the essentials of quantitative research and basic statistics. In this introductory course, we'll explore quantitative research, data analysis methods, and basic statistics to help you make informed decisions and draw meaningful conclusions from numerical data. The following are the learning outcomes of this course. Define quantitative research and understand its significance in empirical studies. Identify and describe the key characteristics of quantitative research. Differentiate between various types of quantitative research designs and their applications. Apply basic statistical concepts and techniques to analyze quantitative data effectively. Throughout this course, we will cover the following key topics to build your understanding of quantitative research and basic statistics. The slide remains on screen, encouraging viewers to continue engaging with the course. Quantitative research is a scientific method used to gather numerical data and analyze it statistically. It is an important tool in understanding complex phenomena and making informed decisions. In this video, we will explore the key characteristics of quantitative research and basic statistics. To grab your attention, let us start with an example. Imagine you want to know how many people prefer coffee over tea. You could ask your friends, but their answers might not be the representative of the entire population. With quantitative research, you can gather data from a large sample size and obtain more accurate results. Defining quantitative research is a systematic approach to collect and analyze numerical data. It involves the use of standardized methods and instruments to ensure objectivity and replicability. Unlike qualitative research, which focuses on subjective experiences and meanings, quantitative research aims to uncover patterns and relationships in the data. For example, if you wanted to study the relationship between smoking and lung cancer, you could conduct a survey to gather data on smoking habits and medical histories. By analyzing the data statistically, you could determine whether there is a correlation between smoking and lung cancer. Key characteristics of quantitative research. There are several key characteristics of quantitative research that distinguish it from other research methods. First, it focuses on numerical data, which can be measured and analyzed statistically. Second, it uses statistical analysis to identify patterns and relationships in the data. Finally, it emphasizes objectivity and replicability, meaning that the results can be verified by other researchers using the same methods. For instance, if you were conducting a study on the effectiveness of a new medication, you could use quantitative research to gather data on the number of patients who experienced positive outcomes. By analyzing the data statistically, you could determine whether the medication is effective or not. Types of quantitative research. There are several types of quantitative research, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. First, surveys are used to gather data from a large sample size and can provide valuable insights into attitudes and opinions. Second, experiments involve manipulating variables to test hypotheses and establish cause and effect relationships. Finally, observational studies involve observing and recording behaviors in natural settings. For example, if you wanted to study the effects of a new teaching method on student performance, you could conduct an experiment where one group of students receives the new method and another group receives the traditional method. By comparing the results of the two groups, you could determine whether the new method is effective or not. To analyze quantitative data, you need to understand some basic statistical concepts. The first concept is measures of central tendency, such as the mean, median, and mode, which are used to describe the typical or average value of a set of data. The second concept is measures of variability, such as the range and standard deviation. They are used to describe how spread out the data is. The last concept is correlation, which is used to measure the strength and direction of the relationship between two variables. For example, if you were analyzing data on the heights of students in a class, you could calculate the mean height to determine the typical height of the class. You could also calculate the range to see how much the heights vary, and the correlation between height and weight to see if there is a relationship between the two variables. Correlation and regression. Both correlation and regression are statistical methods used to analyze the relationship between two variables. Correlation measures the strength and direction of the relationship, while regression is used to predict one variable based on another. Correlation and regression can be used in a variety of real-life situations. For example, they can be used to analyze the relationship between income and education level, or to predict future sales based on past performance. Types of data. There are 4 types of data: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal data is used for categorical variables, such as gender or race. Ordinal data is used for variables that have a specific order, such as education level. Interval data is used for variables with equal intervals between values, such as temperature. Ratio data is used for variables with a true 0 point, such as weight. Understanding the different types of data is important because it determines what statistical analysis can be performed. For example, you cannot calculate a mean for nominal data, but you can calculate a median for the data. Normal distribution. Normal distribution is a bell-shaped curve that represents how data is distributed in a population. It has several properties, including a symmetric shape, a peak at the mean, and a standard deviation that determines the width of the curve. Normal distribution is important because many real-life phenomena follow this pattern. For example, heights and weights of people in a population often follow a normal distribution. Understanding normal distribution can help us make predictions and estimate probabilities. Sampling methods. Sampling is the process of selecting a subset of data from a larger population. There are 4 main sampling methods, which are random, stratified, cluster, and systematic. Each sampling method has its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, random sampling is unbiased but may not be representative of the population, while stratified sampling is more representative but can be time-consuming and expensive. Hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is a statistical method used to test a hypothesis or claim about a population. The process involves setting up a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis, collecting data, and using statistical tests to determine whether the null hypothesis can be rejected. Hypothesis testing is important because it allows us to make inferences about a population based on a sample. For example, if we want to know whether a new drug is effective, we can set up a hypothesis and conduct a study to test it. Confidence intervals. A confidence interval is a range of values that is likely to contain the true population parameter with a certain degree of confidence. It is calculated from a sample and provides an estimate of the true population parameter. Just like the hypothesis testing, confidence intervals are important because they allow us to make inferences about a population based on a sample. For example, if we want to estimate the average height of all people in a city, we can calculate a confidence interval from a sample of heights. In conclusion, quantitative research is an important tool for understanding complex phenomena and making informed decisions. By gathering numerical data and analyzing it statistically, we can uncover patterns and relationships that would otherwise be difficult to detect. Basic statistics provide us with the tools we need to make sense of the data and draw meaningful conclusions. Therefore, the next time you hear about research or survey, remember that behind the numbers are researchers using quantitative methods to uncover the truth. Thank you for your attention, and we hope this video has been informative and engaging.